I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video March 27th.
We just chillin' and vibing, good conversations with good people. Oh. Good conversations with good people. Yeah.
Yo, this your boy Larry, and I'm chilling and vibing with Miss North Carolina, aka Ruby Durham. How you doing, girl?
I can't complain. Feeling good, living better.
That's what's up. So, Ruby, how is life in Charlotte, man? Is that where you from originally?
I'm actually originally from Greenville, South Carolina, but I moved here to work on the news about 6, 7 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
That's what's up. So, what made you want to get into music?
It was something that I loved to do when I was younger. Me and my mom, we were in all things music, theater, dance, sports, pageants, and she passed away to breast cancer when I was in high school, like right before my senior year. And I kind of just didn't have the confidence to continue to do everything without her pushing me. So I just focused on going to college for track. And then that set me up to major in broadcast journalism when I was in college. Long story short, I'm on the news here in Charlotte and I'm working at this NASCAR race. And I run into this girl who was a current Miss North Carolina at the time. And she basically was like, I don't know who you are, but you got to do this pageant, not even knowing that I had history in pageants. And so I ended up competing in the pageant, won the pageant in 2022. But one of the judges during the interview section of the pageant, he said, what is something that no one knows about you here in Charlotte? And I said that I know how to sing. And he just spoke a few encouraging words that basically got me in the studio. I just took a leap of faith, booked studio time, and just start recording. Wrote a few songs and just bet on myself to try again and wake up that person in me that I had honestly been missing for so long. I guess, decided to put it away because I didn't have my confidant. But then all along, it's like that's the thing that really makes me alive.
So, Ruby, you just not drop a lot of gems back to back to back to back, back to back. So I got to
Mhm.
break it down because you talk about track, you talk about music, you talk about working for the news station. I got to break it down. So running track, hey, we got to meet out there on the racetrack. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got to
Go.
line it up.
Let's go. We can line it up whenever.
So like, what you been running back
So
in the day?
So I run now, like all the time. Like I'm walking, I'm running. So I still have that athletic spirit in me. Like I love working out. But when I was in college, I ran short sprints. So the 60, 1, 2, and the 4x1.
That's what's up. And staying fit nowadays, it's important, especially
It's
if you
so
want to put that image out there and keep your health up. Like I try to tell my daughter, man, like, hey, working out, granted it's fun, but it's healthy also.
right. Facts. Facts.
Got to make it a lifestyle, got to stay fit. I got to get back in the gym myself, because if not you, then who
Who?
who gonna do
Who?
it?
Right.
How did that song come about?
Mm. I was in a low period. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was in a low period. I was down bad a little bit, just a little bit. And I just remember like telling myself, get up, girl, get up, like get up. Don't sit in this, don't sulk in this energy because it's temporary. And so the producer who actually created the beat had sent it to me months prior to me actually writing to it. I just, when I first heard it, I didn't know what to write to it. Like I was like, it was fun. It was very poppy. Like it was like, I just felt like it made me want to dance. But at that time, I just wasn't in that spirit. And so one day I just woke up when I was like motivating myself to get up. I said, make something that makes you want to win the day. Create a song that gets you up out of a funk and makes you feel excited about owning the day, being productive, and just figuring out a day to create what you want to see, who you want to.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit servicenow.com.
Be. And so I told when I was going to record the song, I told the producer, I said, honestly, I started skipping. Like when I was writing the song, I said I had to start skipping. Like that's how the song makes me feel. Like I feel like so giddy, so like childlike, like having that childlike energy. And so I created it in just a form of me needing to get up off my butt and be productive and win the day because slow feet don't eat.
That's facts. I was listening to the song and I was like, I started jigging. I was like, okay. It started to motivate me. Like, hey, I appreciate you.
Yes, yes. So I'm hoping everybody feels that energy to just win the day and be unstoppable because if not you, who?
Your song, Fiending. Now I listened to that song and I was like, hey man, boy, if I had a little something, something, boy, hey, I'm gonna have to send her this. So like what made you write that song?
Okay, so feeding, I really do love feeding. I ain't gonna lie to you. So the producer sent me a beat, and the beat is not the same as the one that everybody's hearing now. But that beat just had me, you know, when you first listen to a song and you're just like, like it just made like the song or the beat at the time just made me feel like I don't know. It just made me challenge this certain energy. Like I'm it, and I'm gonna have you feeling. And but you gonna wait for it. You gonna work for it. But I'm peeping what you bring it to the table, and at the end of the day, it's gonna be worth the wait. And so that's what the song gave me in that moment. I wrote it actually on a plane. I was on a plane. The plane was like dark at the time. It was night. I was traveling back to Charlotte. And it was just the whole setting. I was on the plane. It was late at night. I listened to this beat that just gave me all the feels. So it made me channel like, you know, me telling someone that you've been patient and I'm gonna make it worth it because you put in that work.
Who would be your dream collaboration?
Female or male?
Both.
Okay. Both of them. Female, I would definitely say Megan the Stallion, Lotto. Those are the two that come to my mind right now. Yeah, those are the two that women that come to my mind. Maybe Dua Lipa. Uh, Men, I would definitely say Sir, Brent Fayez. Definitely love those two vibes. Drake. If it was a rapper, probably Rick Ross. Yeah, Rick Ross. If Young Dolph was here, definitely Young Dolph. He's my favorite, but I would definitely say Rick
Greek.
Ross. 100 shot.
And that
If
was
I
shot in Charlotte. Well, the
Yeah,
inspiration for that came from, you know what I'm saying, the incident that went down there. So working at the TV station, I saw you interview the baby. How was that experience?
So that was interesting because I think I manifested it, honestly. A lot of people at the station at the time knew like I wanted to interview him. And it just came about in a way where I was months from leaving my job. Like that interview was during the summer, the same year that I ended up resigning. And I just remember I was getting like mentally, I was getting ready to resign from the job. And I remember walking in one day and I don't know if my spirits were low. I just don't remember. But one of my coworkers, which is a really good friend of mine, he was like, I got a surprise for you. And I'm like, what? And he just like could not hold it. He said, I set up an interview for you. And he was like, nobody can do it but you. And I'm like, who is it? And he eventually told me that it would be the baby. And I was so excited because I was already like in a state where it's just like, okay, Ruby, like you about to have to take a leap of faith and it ain't gonna be pretty. Like I felt it wasn't gonna be easy, but I was gonna have to do it. But that was like, oh wow, like everybody knew I had been wanting to do it. And then right before I'm about to take a leap of faith, like I get one more thing that I wanted to accomplish at the news station because I accomplished a lot of things, but that was one person that I did want to interview. So it was cool. We ended up meeting outside of a club that he had a performance at either that weekend or maybe a couple of days before. And I just remember I was definitely nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was nervous because not because of who he was, but I manifested it. I literally was like, I'm standing right in front of something that, I asked for, that I wanted. And it just showed me the power that I had. But then also when preparation meets opportunity, it's like, what you gonna do? So I remember it like it was yesterday. There were so many reporters there. There are a few reporters there. And I feel like everybody else was nervous too. Like nobody wanted to, I don't know. Nobody wanted to start the conversation. It's just like everybody was kind of like, how is he gonna be? How he about to pull up? Like, well, how this about to really go? Because it was still in an interesting time for him too. Everybody was kind of like had cold feet. But me, like, even if I'm nervous or not, I'm still gonna be Ruby. So I remember I was like, y'all ready? Y'all ready to get started? Like to all the photographers and the reporters, because nobody was saying nothing. It was like an awkward moment before the interview where everybody was like looking. I'm like, y'all ready? Let's go. Like it ain't this what we do. And so I just remember just firing off my questions first and I was comfortable. I was good. And then after that, long story short, I remember going to another reporter that was on the scene, like after our interview for the news was over. Ruby's roundtable wasn't even thought about at the time. I had pitched it to my producer, but nobody else knew about it. I just remember going to this reporter and I was about to leave and she was like, you done for today? And I said, yeah. I said, but I really want to go over up to him and say, would you be a guest on Ruby's Roundtable? We're not ready yet. It's not launched yet, but would you be open to it? And she was like, if anybody can do it, Ruby can do it. So I marched my little self up to him and I was just like, hey, one day I'm going to have Ruby's Roundtable. I just want to throw it out to you. So when I bring it to you, it's not nothing new. We're not ready right now. But when we are, like, I want to interview you. And so it was just one of those things overall where, again, I manifested something that I wanted, and then thankful that I have coworkers who, speak my names in rooms when it comes to interviews. And I was the one who was sent out there. And then I was able to pitch something and throw something out to him in that moment that I hadn't even launched yet. But I was like, one day I'm going to have my own thing and I want you to be a part of it. And so, yeah, it was cool. I think my advice to anybody who is interviewing a celebrity or someone of that stature to, remember, if you are an interviewer, journalist, or media person, just treat that person as a regular person and be cool. Like, it's not anything where you have to be scared or, weary of what may happen. Just be cool and shoot your shot.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV Insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Empower.
Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
So you had the audacity to quit your news job. What did
I
your
did.
boss say, when you went up to him and your boss, hey, I'm about to be my own boss?
Well, it was one of those things where I really wanted to transition from the morning shift. And I think because I made an impact on the morning shift, it was like, we need you on that overnight shift. But I've worked that midnight overnight shift all of my career. And it was like, I need to change. Like, this is kind of like killing me. I never had another job outside of the news. And so it kind of started there like, hey, can I just transition shifts? And because of me being a face on the morning shift, I think that kind of wasn't going to be ideal. And so it came down to me just making a decision for myself and my mental and just saying, girl, just do what you want to do. And if it makes sense, you'll be back on the news. If it aligns, if God, that's what God wants for you in the end. But in the meantime, like, especially coming off of the pageant, me getting back into that world of the fashion, the glitz, the glam, just the practicing on stage. I wanted to get back into that. And so I said, if it makes sense, I'll come back. If I don't, then I'll use the tools that I learned from the news and apply them to other things that I got going on. But they didn't feel blindsided. I think they were more so like shocked that I was actually going to do it. And then I remember like right before I left at the end of the shift on my last day, one of my bosses said, she's like, are you sure you're going to do this? And I said, yeah. I'm going to do it. And she just told me good luck. And I walked to my car and I was like, okay, here we go.
Man, that's a leap of faith, man. And saying, betting on yourself,
Yeah,
because ain't nobody gonna go harder than yourself. You know how much you
right.
want to make, you know what you worth, and you took that chance of doing that. So like after doing that, like the first day afterwards, how did you feel?
I felt like the world was mine. Like anything I wanted, I could do it. But on the flip side, I knew it was going to take a different me. I was going to have to really show up for myself and prove it to myself. Um, so that was one of the things. And then in knowing that I was going to have to go through some challenges because it was new and I didn't know exactly what I was doing at the time, but I knew I could get through it. I could take it day by day, take everything that came with it, and I would be a soldier and I could get through it.
Who was your first guest?
On Ruby's Roundtable, her name is Kiki Ford. So Kiki Ford, she is in the beauty industry and she owns her own business. And I thought of her just because she is someone who I think is very boss like material. She is leading other women to figure out how to become their own entrepreneurs, and she looks good when she's doing it. So I thought she was a good person to start off with. And we knocked it out of the park, and she actually told me that that was her first podcast too, so we were both in it to win it together. And so I'm glad that I can remember that, in that moment I wasn't alone being the first person to do something, and we'll probably always have that memory together.
What have you learned so far being a podcaster?
Keep it simple. Definitely keep it simple and be yourself. and treat people how you want to be treated, make people feel comfortable. Just invite people into a space where it's not overly professional so they can feel like it's a safe place to have a conversation, to open up. Because I think because I've been on the news, I have this aura that it's like highly professional, which it like I am, but at the same time it's not the news anymore. So I just hope to create a space where it's very relaxed. Like honestly, my ideal podcast will be in sweats and food.
Take me out to the ball game. What are you doing? Did you know DirecTV has the most MLB games? So, you're singing? Yeah, they put your favorite teams front and center right when you turn it on. Buy me some cold cuts and flapjacks. Those aren't even the words. I'm allergic to peanuts.
Stream DirecTV, home of the most MLB games. Visit directtv.com. Claim based on total games offered on national and regional sports networks. RSNs available with choice package or higher. Availability of RSNs varies by zip code and package.
Around a round table, and the other people like very comfortable with however they want to approach it. But honestly, it would not be in a suit or dressed up. It would be so relaxed. So I'm trying. I can't wait to get it to a point where it's like that, like where it's like I literally walked out of my bedroom or the bathroom, still like looking presentable, but it's so relaxed where it's not like overly professional, but it's just like we're sitting around the table having a good conversation over some good food.
Who would be your dream guest?
That's a good question. Dream guest? I don't really have a specific person. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nothing comes to mind in terms of the person. I think again, it's the experience. I don't have a dream guest right now, but I think the experience I would want to create for everybody would be just an experience where they don't want to leave. Like they want to kick back and they want to continue talking even when the tape is not rolling anymore. I want to be able to create a community of people who love having conversations that are intentional, that maybe give them some energy to go take a leap of faith themselves or to go start a project or to bet on themselves. And just remember that they experience that energy around a table of people who are doing the same, scared and not scared. So it's about the experience that I ultimately want to cultivate.
And with me doing my podcast, like I have had a lot of deep conversations with people off camera. On camera, you see stuff, but like off camera, it's like it get deep, and I'm like, I should have kept the camera rolling. You know,
But I'm talking
like
like that space, like where it's the camera's there, but you don't even know it.
yeah. And I done met people from all over Canada, London, Cali, North Carolina, Atlanta, Miami. And you know, like good conversation with good people, man, and it's just been so dope. And I would love to come to Ruby's round table, you know, and chill and vibe one day.
Come to the round table. If not you, who?
You're also a clothing designer. What made you want to start your own clothing brand?
Love clothes. I love making something out of nothing. I feel like my best self when I have on an outfit that not only I thought about in my sleep or just whenever, but I brought it to life and it looked good. So I've gotten a lot of compliments on my fashion and my style, and sometimes it's very minimal, but I've gotten a lot of compliments. And I think when I was on the news, that encouraged me to say, hey, one day I'm going to create my own line because I was listening to the people who just would say things about my outfits on the news or just out and about. And so I said, I'm going to take a stab at it. I do not have a fashion degree. I don't have a pattern making degree, design degree, but again, me being stubborn but relentless and passionate, I can figure it out. When I was on the news, I started to look into it and I started to look for clothes that other people were making. And then a mentor said, Ruby, no, stop reselling clothes that other people are making. And if you're going to do it, figure out how to really make what you want. And so that's kind of like the process that I'm in. But I remember on my first news job, I was just coming off of college. And honestly, I was kind of like a girly tomboy in college. So when I got my first job on the news, I didn't really have much style because I was still in that athletic spirit. And the news director at the time was like, she pulled me into the office and she was like, Ruby, I just want to be honest with you. She was like, you have it on camera, but you need to elevate your style. And I was like, oh. And so after that conversation, I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm looking for, but I don't see it. So one day I'll create it. And it's just been years of me thinking of it and then just kind of executing it step by step.
If somebody would want to cop some merch, as I got on right now, one of your hoodies, how could they do that?
.com and go to shop. And we have some other options on there. I know it's getting a little warm outside. Definitely look and see what you like best because if not you, who?
If somebody would want to listen to your music, how could they do that?
Same. The website is there, and it provides links to YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and leave a comment and let me know which song is your best as I continue to grow and play around with different vibes and songs. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you are liking already.
The process of going and being in the pageant and winning Miss North Carolina, like, how did that happen and how did that go?
It was honestly scary. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, when I entered myself in it, I said, girl, what are you doing? Like, you always doing something. Like, I literally was telling myself that. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, like maybe life is just coming in full circle. Maybe I was never supposed to stop doing this. It was just a tragic event that kind of put a halt to some things. But
the number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Because I wasn't unfamiliar with it, I said, just do it. Like, you never know what relationships, just what it will bring out of you. And so it was uncomfortable because number one, I had to put on a swimsuit. Like, I'm very confident in my body, but it's another level of confidence to be on stage in front of hundreds of people in a swimsuit, evening gown, answering questions on stage. But then once I started to practice, not only did I remember who I was, but I remember that, oh my gosh, like you've been prepared for this. So why not be that person who is prepared?
Yeah, that's man, winning Miss North Carolina. I know, like all the pictures, like you had to do charity events also, right?
Yeah, we definitely had to give back and we had to make appearances that either dealt with young adults or things that were happening in the city. And so, again, those are things that I was doing on the news too. So, even though it was a pageant, the swimsuit portion of it kind of related back to being athletic. The interview portion came back to me being on the news, knowing how to interview, and the style, the fashion came back to me loving that in general. So it was really just a stage where all of my talents and interests came together, and I just had to be ready for the opportunity when it came and see it all the way through.
So after winning Miss North Carolina, how did you feel?
I was like, oh, my mama proud of me. She probably up there in heaven, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. My mama was a Scorpio woman, and she was very like, she was confident. She had that silent confidence about her, and that's what she instilled in me. But it just made me remember again who I was, who I always wanted to be, and the stage that I wanted for myself. And how I was just proud that I didn't stop myself from doing something that I love to do, and not being afraid of transitioning from someone who was, just very news journalist like, but someone who can do all things and step on any stage and hopefully empower someone to take a crazy leap of faith on themselves too.
So, Ruby, what advice would you give a young female that want to pursue modeling, being an entrepreneur, or a singer? What would you tell her?
People will tell you to just do it and keep going and push through and just start. But I think it's deeper than that. I think you really have to sit with yourself and make a promise to yourself that if that is something that you want to do, think of your highest self in that position. What does she look like? What does she wear? How does she start her day in her day? What does she do in the middle of her day? And kind of reverse engineer it back to who you are today and be that person. Make those steps that that person in your highest self would make, and just go for it relentlessly, and know that there are going to be trials and failures and losses, but that is all preparation for you to be strong in the moments that are really going to count later on.
But Ruby, we didn't discuss this also. When do you drop your episode?
So Ruby's Roundtable drops every Monday on iHeartMedia, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Well, Ruby, I appreciate you for coming to Chill and Vibe. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
Hey, we are chilling and vibing right now. We got Larry with his If Not You Who hoodie on. Thank you so much for supporting. And definitely tune in to more episodes that's to come. I appreciate my time with you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ruby.